what's going on, guys? I'm Alex Trader, joined by Jackson Collier this week, not Mason Choate. I've got the hosting duties, and this is the Recruiting Hawgs podcast. It's a basketball-loaded episode. Usually we cover football on here. We're not going to be talking much football, actually no football at all, but we've got a very special guest coming up in an interview. It's going to be the first commitment in Arkansas's 2023 class, Layden Blocker. Great interview with him. JC did a great job there talking to him, getting some good information. And then stick around because after that, we've got Jackson breaking down what's next for that 2023 class, as well as some names to watch in 2024. Still very, very early on there, but some big time names that Arkansas is reaching out to. Definitely need to keep an eye on. Jackson, I just realized I didn't get you a first word there. Thank you for joining us. Would like to have you on this one more. I know Mason's talked about that, but this is your introduction. So go ahead, take your time, and then we'll get into Layden Blocker's interview.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Always happy to talk hog hoops. Always happy to talk anything basketball, but excited to join the Recruiting Hawgs podcast. Excited to talk a little bit about what Arkansas has got coming with 2023, what it's looking like after Layden Blocker, and then kind of previewing some 2024 guys, especially some really talented in-state guys that a lot of Razorback fans are going to both already know and be excited to hear that Arkansas is kind of contacting them this early. So some good stuff coming your way, guys. Really excited to join you this week. And hopefully, like Alex said, I can join a little bit more often moving forward.
Yep. And one more thing before we get into the interview, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps us out a lot. Leave a comment. Let us know who you guys want us to have on next, because we've had a couple of guys already: Jalen Braxton, Brad Spence, Davion Dozier, now Layden Blocker. We have a huge interview next week that I'm very, very happy. I recorded it today. That one will be coming as well. So subscribe for more content just like this. You get the Recruiting Hawgs podcast, the Diamond Hawgs podcast, and a couple new podcasts coming to the HawgBeat.com podcast network. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for those. You'll also have practice clips. We're going to be clipping out the interviews now going forward. Press conferences, my recruiting videos. I put one out today about Steven Johnson, who's a 23 football commit. Really everything you need to stay in touch with Arkansas sports coverage. Follow on the YouTube with the subscription, and then also go to HawgBeat.com to get even more on that. And without further ado, let's get into Layden Blocker. All right, and now we're joined by class of 2023 basketball commitment, the first in the group, Layden Blocker. Layden, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm going to let Jackson kick off the questions here because I know you followed his recruitment for a long time.
Yeah, for sure, Layden. Very, very happy to have you on. Good to see you again. I appreciate you jumping on here with us for sure. First, just to start everything off.
No problem.
So you just finished up playing in Peach Jam. What was that experience like for you this year?
For me, it was a pretty good experience because, my team had the playing game to get into Peach Jam. So, just the experience, just to be able to, we had to fight through to get in Peach Jam. If we didn't win, we wasn't going to be in Peach Jam. But for it to be my last year, it was a pretty good experience to play, my guys, my coaches. This would be my second year playing for Bad Bill, and it was just an overall fun experience. Making a good run, making it to the Elite Eight. I mean, everything was just fun, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Now, obviously, it's a team effort when you go out there and you play against some of the top competition on the circuit. But you really catapulted your team to wins with how you played and took control of games. Would you say that you grew as a leader through this experience this summer?
Oh, yeah, of course. Being like the point guard of the team, the guy to make the plays, put the ball in the hoop. I also think I grew as a leader because times when I can't score or times when, I can't, make plays, I still got to, be the PG and get my teammates involved and get them going. So I think just being that guy on the team was able to build my leadership skills also.
Do you think you got more vocal throughout the time too, this summer in particular?
Yeah, of course. I had to really know all 5 positions just because, people, they scout and stuff, and they was going to face guard me. So it was good for me to know all 5 positions. So just being vocal, getting guys where they need to be, making sure guys remember the plays, yelling out the plays. I felt like I had to be more vocal, coming into this summer.
And one thing I noticed too, because I was watching pretty much all of your games from circuit, I think the second session on the way through Peach Jam. One thing I noticed about your game was that you grew each time you went out on the court, and you grew each week and each session. And one thing I noticed in particular was your ability to break down double teams. It looked like initially they gave you a little bit of trouble because you were scoring so much early on this summer, and then teams started throwing doubles at you. But by the time you saw it maybe 2 or 3 games in a row, well, then you made adjustments and you kind of were able to pass out of him or break down, beat him off the dribble, all that sort of stuff. What went into identifying that in particular and being able to adjust so quickly?
I think the main thing for that is really because, to be honest, I don't really think it was just me. As a team, we grew together throughout all the sessions. We gelled together, and everybody's chemistry, we all just bonded. So everybody knew who was gonna be there. Nobody was left alone. So if I was in a trap or anything, everybody knew to come back and get the ball, and just come, meet the pass. Because, at the beginning of the season, you wouldn't really see that. We wasn't really together. We wasn't really as a team. Everybody was on their own ways. But, as, sessions came on, time went by, everybody just gelled together. And it was easy to get out those traps because I had my teammates right there for me.
Gotcha. That's a really good answer. So you're the 3rd native Arkansan in recent memory to go through the Bradville Elite program and then commit to Arkansas also. Is that something that you think is pretty cool, or is it just kind of is what it is?
I do think that's pretty cool. I never really thought about that actually being the 3rd Arkansan to go to Bradville Elite to commit to Arkansas. But now that I think about it, it is pretty cool.
Did you ever talk to Moses or Nick Smith at all, within the organization, talk about Arkansas whenever they committed or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So obviously it's Brad's program and he's involved in it. How involved has he been with you? And what was that like, getting advice and guidance from a multi-time NBA All-Star?
He was involved heavily. He was at session 2 in Indiana, and he told me a lot of words. He was at session 2 and session 3, and in both of those sessions, he gave me a lot of words of wisdom and stuff just to help my game and help me as a person. Basically, saying I'm the point guard of the team. I got to lead the team. I got to make sure guys in the right places. Giving me feedback on my game and how I need to play. Because he already been through the system. He's in the league now, making millions of dollars. So anything he says to me, I just take it in, process it, and do it the next time.
Does that carry extra weight coming from a guy who's a 3-time NBA All-Star, who's just signed one of the largest contracts in NBA history and well-respected and everything like that?
Yeah, of course. Because, again, he been in my shoes. He been through, the Bradville program, since it was called St. Louis Eagles. He been through, everything, what I need to do to, make it to where he's at now.
So what's on tap for the rest of the summer for you?
Really just, really nothing. I got to go back to Sunrise in 3 weeks. So in the next 3 weeks, I have nothing planned. Really just chill, go to the gym, rest, recovering, just get ready for a big senior season.
Are you pretty excited for the school year and your high school season startup?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for, my last high school season. It's really crazy that I'm going to be a senior and this is going to be my last time in high school. But, I'm ready.
Yeah, time flies for sure. You ready to win a championship?
For sure. I'm ready to win a championship. It's time for us to get one at Sunrise.
So what are you most looking forward to for your senior year?
Like you said, win a championship, get better as a player and a person, for real. Get prepared for college. I'm looking forward just the environment of traveling, really, going to all these different states to play on the biggest stage. I'm just looking forward to all of that, playing the highest competition there is in high school basketball. It's going to be a fun year.
So talking about your commitment to Arkansas really quick, what did it mean to you for play for your home state program?
It meant a lot because I'm from Arkansas. My family's from Arkansas. And just committing there, I mean, I think it felt like it was the right decision because, you know, Coach Musk and the coaches that they do a great job over there developing players and, you know, getting guys to the league because, you know, him and his staff, they're all like NBA style. You know, he came from the league, Coach Musk, and some of his staff did also. So, like, they know a lot about the game. And again, just being from Arkansas, it just means a lot because, you know, my parents, it's only 2-hour drive from my house. So my parents, they can come to like any home game they want. Like not my parents, my whole family. So it just means a lot just committing to the home state.
What was it that sold you the most on the Razorback program?
Really, like I just said, like the NBA style of play and the NBA style of coaching. Coach Musk, because I went on an official visit, he showed me everything I need like to get better in. And it was like a diagram. It just amazed me. And also like how what they run and what they do is similar to the NBA. And once he showed me like the diagram and that, like I thought it was sealed because, you know, everything there is so high level and everything is like such an order, like nothing just out of the blue. Like everything is like in order and just it's a plan. That coach, he's not just going to make up like something random to do. Like everything is on the paper, everything is planned just like the league. And that's why I chose Arkansas because I feel like if I go there, they're going to prepare me for the next level.
We've seen it time and time again. You know, Coach Musselman's able to generate the interaction on social media and also be able to bring in top recruits like yourself, like Nick Smith, like Moses Moody. What is it about Coach Musselman that, you know, you think draws people to him?
Really his energy and his passion for the game and his coaching. You know, I think those three things brings people to Coach Musk. You know, you see him on the sidelines of the game, he's hype, yelling, just like with the fans after the games. He's just an energetic coach. And, you know, mix that with a good, like he runs NBA stuff, mix that with like a high level coach who runs NBA style stuff. It's like, can't do anything but like that's a coach that you want to play for.
Does it mean a little bit extra to you that you're not only committed to the Arkansas Razorbacks, the home team, but you're also the first to do so in that 2023 class where spots look like they may be limited?
Oh yeah, it does. You know, being the first 2023 to commit to Arkansas, you know, that's a big thing. You know, being the first 2023 committed to Arkansas, and I'm from Arkansas, so it just makes it, you know, even better.
What was your family's reaction when you told them you're committing to Arkansas?
Of course, you know, they was happy for me, but like at the end of the day, they was gonna support me throughout any like situation. But you know, when I committed to Arkansas, I think it made them even more happy because, you know, Arkansas is only 2 hours away from the house, and I can visit them like quick like that, like just anytime. And I think I brought a lot of smiles to people's faces, not even my parents, but even like just my grandparents, uncles, aunts, you know, all of that. And even people from my old school, Little Rock Christian, I brought a lot of happiness and smiles from people's faces committing to Arkansas. Because, you know, that's the team everybody likes here, and that's the team they support. So coming to Arkansas, you bring a lot of happiness from that.
And we saw in the 2022 class, you know, Jordan Walsh and it was actively trying to recruit Nick Smith and Jordan Walsh and Anthony Black all kind of like actively tried to recruit each other once the kind of like the dominoes fell. Have you done anything like that? Like, have you contacted any of the other guys that they're looking at for the 2022 class, or have you just kind of stayed in your own lane, or what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I contacted two of them. Well, one I think I made a tweet, Ron Holland, but Baye Fall, I had his number in his Snapchat, and you know, and I just saw him at the top 100 camp too, and I was telling him that, you know, he should come to Arkansas and that should be the move. You know, I've been actively, you know, trying to get him to come here. But, you know, me, out of all the people that's, you know, getting recruited from Arkansas, I think I'm probably closer to Baye just because I have his number and his Instagram, and I saw him at the top 100 camp, and that's when we really, you know, became close, started talking, is at the top 100 camp.
Do you think you're making good ground there?
Yeah, I think I'm making pretty good ground.
So I think this might be our last question for you here. It's kind of a two-parter. There's been a movement on Twitter from Arkansas fans campaigning for you to get your 5th star. So how cool is that, seeing fans of the program, pushing for that on your behalf?
To me, I think that's really cool. People having my back, try to promote me to get that 5th star. Like even my family, they think I should have it. Friends and family around me. But to me, I think it's kind of good that I don't got the 5th star, because it would make me work more, make me work harder, But I honestly still think I should be a 5-star after all what I've done through these 4 sessions and through Peace Gym. But I'm just, either way, it's 5th star or not, I'm still stay in the gym, keep working.
Well, you jumped ahead of me, because my next question was going to be, do you think you were a 5-star recruit? And you went ahead and said you were, so you beat me to it.
How important are ratings to a guy like you who's being nationally recruited all around? You can basically go anywhere you want to play college ball. Does that 5th star necessarily matter as much to you if you've got the offers to back it up?
To me, it really, like, a 5th star really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's who can put the ball in the hoop, for real. Like, a 5th star, that's just something on the internet, for real. I mean, it's good for, like, long term, like having that 5th star. But as a player, I feel like a 5th star should really matter, because you could be any star and still get your butt whipped, for real. Because it's just a matter of who's going to stay in the gym, keep working, and keep grinding.
Gotcha. And then this is my last one here, and I think we're going to be able to let you go. But, I ask all the football recruits this whenever we get them on. What is Arkansas getting in you? What can fans expect to see whenever you step foot on campus?
They're going to see an energetic PG that can get out in transition, explosive. So I'm going to have the, arena rocking in transition, especially, fast break dunks and stuff. A playmaker, a scorer, and a leader, going to the Arkansas games. The point guard, if you have, energy towards you and the leadership, they love you over there. Just Coach Much, he loves point guards to get out in transition, getting past lanes, all them dunks and stuff, all them yelling and crazy stuff. He loves all that stuff. And I think I could, fit that role right there and fit it perfectly.
All right. Well, Layden, thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming on. You're more than welcome to come on anytime you want. There you have it, folks. That was the first commitment for Arkansas basketball in 2023. Layden Blocker. Make sure you guys check him out. He's really been rising up the ranks lately, dominating the summer circuit. Excited to see what you're able to do this winter.
Thank you.
All right. A huge thank you again to Layden Blocker. Make sure you guys keep an eye out for him this season. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get that 5th star sooner rather than later. But we're going to go ahead and talk now a little bit more about what else could be coming in the 2023 class, and who better to talk to than the man, the myth, the legend, Jackson Collier. Jackson, lay it on us. Who's next for 2023?
Well, first of all, thanks again for having me on, Alex. Really excited to jump on here and talk Razorback hoops. So again, we're looking at another potentially loaded recruiting class, which has become the norm under Eric Musselman at Arkansas. His first full cycle in 2020, he was a top 10 class and featured the first one and done in program history. And everybody knows about the 3 McDonald's All-Americans in 2022. And now we go to 2023. And there's not going to be any drop off. You look at the guys that Musselman is looking at, recruiting really hard, prioritizing all that sort of stuff. You've already landed Layden Blocker, who on the Rivals database, on the Rivals 150, is ranked 37th and could even move up further, pushing 5-star status. So he's already committed. And so from there, you're looking at a slew of some 5 stars and some high 4 stars. First, Baye Fall, 5-star big man out of Colorado. And I actually just put my future cast in for Baye Fall to commit to Arkansas last week. I think with everything, with his relationship with the coaching staff, what he's looking for in a program, also the fact that his cousin, Assane Diop, another 4-star recruit that Arkansas is recruiting, Arkansas is obviously recruiting him, so that kind of opens the door for those two to be a package deal if they wanted to. There's no guarantee that Diop will follow Fall or Fall will follow Diop, or that they are a package deal necessarily. But the door is open for that to happen at Arkansas if they want it to. And it seems like Arkansas has genuine interest in Diop, separate from Fall as well. They like Diop's game a lot. It's not, hey, we're going to recruit your cousin just to land you. They really like his game, his versatility too. Because I mean, you look at their measurables; they're both big, they're both athletic, really versatile for their positions and for their size. Which, as we know, in an Eric Musselman system, he loves versatility. He loves athleticism. And he loves guys who can, stretch the floor, even if that doesn't mean shooting the ball. They can run out and guard on the wings defensively. They can run in transition. They can do all these sort of things. That's what Fall and Diop can both bring to the table. And those two are really strong contenders to helping fill out this 2023 class. Outside of those two, Fall is the 5-star, Diop's a high 4-star. You also have another 5-star in Ron Holland, who is listed as a wing, probably a small forward, but a wing nonetheless, hovering right around 6'7", 6'8". Another one of those just really good athletes. He's an elite prospect in his class. Layden, in our interview with him, just mentioned he and Baye Fall being in the top 100 camp together. I wouldn't be surprised if Fall and Holland are potential McDonald's All-Americans. Even Layden Blocker could be a potential McDonald's All-American. Who knows? It's early, but those are the kind of caliber of players that Arkansas is looking to get in 2023 yet again. And those are probably where it's looking at finishing out, are those four, with Blocker, with Fall, with Holland, with Diop. Not as confident in Holland right this second. That's not saying that he's not going to commit. That's not saying anything negative about his recruitment. As of right now, I would even say that he's probably leaning Arkansas, but there's no way to know what his final decision will be at this time. There's still plenty of time left in his recruitment. But for now, I would think it would be safe to say he's at least leaning Arkansas, and that Arkansas has some momentum there. As far as Diop and Fall go, I felt comfortable putting a future cast in for Baye Fall, especially considering their whole relationship and the whole idea of both of them being able to come to Arkansas. But both of them are looking at returning to visit Fayetteville early in the football season in September. Outside of those four guys, when you look at Blocker, Fall, Diop, and Holland, outside of those four guys, there are still some other really solid options if they happen to either miss on any of those three outstanding commitments, or if they take more than four. It's kind of just my guess at this point that they take four, but I also thought they'd only take four in the 2022 class, and they took six. So I can be wrong. It happens to everybody. But if they take more, or if they miss on somebody, whatever, they have a few other high 4-star options. Zayden High being one of them, plays for JL3 Elite on the EYBL circuit. Really good. Reminds me a lot of Jalen Williams. He's a more fluid Jalen Williams in terms of his motion on the court, ability to stretch the floor. Played really well on the EYBL circuit down the stretch, and actually exploded on the rankings. Wasn't even ranked in the top 150 on Rivals, and then moved up at least 110 spots at number 40. So he's a guy that's on the staff's radar. Another guy that blew up was Justin McBride, who I think he scored 33 points in one game at Peach Jam, and then 24 points in two different games, and just absolutely came out of nowhere to rise his stock. He had been a guy who his stock was falling. Arkansas was involved very early in his recruitment, and he's only going to continue to climb in his rankings, climb back up to where he was. I think at one point he was a top 50 guy. Probably going to get close to that same area again with his performance. Another 6'8", 6'9", a versatile big man who can stretch the floor, and he can step out and shoot it from outside. Outside of those two in the front court, you have a couple of backcourt options that I think are probably the only two other backcourt options outside of Hall and Blocker. You have Wesley Yates the third, and then you have Chris Johnson. Both of those guys are very good additions on the wing. They're good ball handlers. Both can shoot the ball really well too, which is really good for a Razorback team, considering, last year they weren't the best outside shooting team. This year there are some concerns again, although I don't think they're going to shoot as many threes, but they would be good wing additions, backcourt additions. They're both top 75, top 60 4-star recruits that are just, they're still in the mix for after looking at other guys that are top 15. So regardless, or needless to say, this is going to be another incredible recruiting class, no matter how this thing ends.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say you'd rather have the problem of a wealth of riches rather than not being able to get these guys to take a serious look at you. There's not, outside of Layden Blocker, who is, an Arkansas native, there's not necessarily like a Darian Ford or a Joseph Pinion coming in this class, despite Arkansas, being a talent-rich state. And this was a question in your town hall that you did earlier today, actually, or yesterday. And I thought it was really interesting. Is Arkansas moving beyond just taking kids from the state of Arkansas, or is that something that we're just seeing this year and that's not necessarily going to become the norm?
So I think it's a really interesting question. It's a really good question, but I think what really is going to start happening is you see every year, and it's been this way for over a decade now, the state of Arkansas produces at least one, but most years it seems like 2 to 3 really good high major top rated recruits that are 4 stars, that are pushing 5-star status, that are just really good. Arkansas landed a decent amount of those guys under Mike Anderson, but also missed on a lot of them. Archie Goodwin, Malik Monk, Kayvon Allen, all those sorts of names that come back and haunt Razorback fans' memories. Those are the type of guys that Eric Musselman has proven he is landing. He landed Moses Moody. He landed Nick Smith. He has secured a commitment from Layden Blocker. And he's doing that, especially most notably in the 2022 class, along with taking, other high-ranked prospects from out of state. You have 2 other 5 stars from Texas, and Anthony Black and Jordan Walsh. And then you also have 2 more 4 stars from in-state, plus another 4-star from Alabama. So you look at this, and I think Musselman is really creating this. Number one, it all comes down to branding. The Razorback brand is as strong as it's been since the 90s. And kids want to come play for Arkansas. To answer your question more specifically, though, I think Musselman is going to prioritize landing the top recruits in state, whether that's 1, whether that's 2, or however many he has room for, and if it fits the roster, but then also expanding that outside. But, he also wants top recruits from outside of the state. But I think, when you have all that talent in your backyard, like the state does, it's one of the most basketball rich states per capita in the country. And I've said that for years. When you have all of this talent, when you have a guy you have a state that you're going to produce a 5-star almost every single year, you're not just going to, look elsewhere for, a guy that might be number 3 overall in the class instead of your own backyard being number 7 or whatever the case may be. They're still going to recruit the state heavily. They know what they have in this state talent wise, and they're also going to spread their reach a little bit like they've been doing.
Yeah, and continuing to look ahead, there is the 2024 class looming. The contact period just started, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but it started not too long ago. You don't have to go super in depth on this one, but who are some of the names that you're hearing Arkansas is reaching out to?
So specifically, Dink Pate is one of them. I actually just interviewed Dink not too long ago, and I think that was just earlier this week or last week, actually. But very good interview, very good basketball player. He's one of those guys who he's already I believe he's 21st in the Rivals rankings for the class of 2024 already. So I think he's already got 25 scholarship offers, Arkansas being the 25th. He loved the Arkansas offer. He was surprised by it. You can, if you're a subscriber, you can read my article and get the full quotes and everything. But he was very complimentary of the Razorback program, was very excited about his offer as well. And he was also really good friends with Anthony Black. So he's definitely a name to keep an eye on. Also, Jace Richardson, if that name sounds familiar at all, his father is Jason Richardson, who played for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA for a long time. Jason Richardson was also, I think he was a second-year NBA player when Muss was got his first head coaching job for the Golden State Warriors. So there is a connection there. And I did a long interview with Jace and his mom and also his dad, Jason. And they're a great family. They love the connections they have on staff, both with assistant coach Keith Smart and with head coach Eric Musselman. Again, if you want to read that story, you can subscribe and see what exactly those connections are, because they're pretty cool connections. They're very much closer than I thought they would be. But again, he's also a name to look out for. He's pushing 5-star status. I think he's a top 20, top 15 player in the class of 2024, and he hadn't even played in months because of an injury. And he's maintained such a high rating. So that should tell you something about how good of a player he is and his perception. You also have the in-state kids. You have 3 really talented in-state kids in 2024. You have Anor Boating, you have Layden Blocker, and you have Dallas Thomas. And all 3 of those guys are very talented. They're very athletic, and they are very good basketball players. And that's, again, like I was just saying not too long ago, they're in your backyard. So that's just one of those things where you already have a good base of what you're looking at, who you're looking for the 2024 class. And that they've contacted plenty of other recruits outside of those. They've probably offered more than those 5 as well. But I think they've only offered 3 or 4 of those recruits. But regardless, it's very early. They haven't even finished the 2023 class. That's just a glimpse into 2024. Those names, the list will keep growing, but those are definitely 5 that I could see lasting through and through to the end of the recruitment cycle.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you have to think Musselman, especially back-to-back Elite 8 runs, anticipation that it's going to happen again this year, coming out very, very high in the early preseason polls. You have to think that only helps with recruiting, only helps him continue to bring in top classes to Arkansas. So definitely going to be a fun cycle to follow. We'll make sure to have you on more whenever there's basketball news. That is going to wrap it up for us here. If you missed Mason, I don't know why, but he'll be back this next week. I have my interview. I may or may not be on the football segment. I'm not quite sure yet. It'll all depend on scheduling, as I am going to be out of town for a wedding. But nonetheless, leave a like, subscribe if you guys enjoyed this. We'll keep posting this type of stuff every week. Like I mentioned, access to the entire HawgBeat podcast network, access to my recruiting videos, access to what Jackson's able to get up from basketball stuff. We've got practice clips, press conference, basically everything you need in terms of video content to stay up to date. The football coverage coming up, I'm so excited for everybody to see how that's going to shift and kind of turn more into a multimedia. As well as I'm very excited to see what we're able to do with basketball coverage. So really big things happening on the HawgBeat YouTube channel and over at HawgBeat.com. Go check it out. My town hall will be up as you guys are listening to this today. So if you're a subscriber, go ahead and ask me a question. If you're not a subscriber, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Premium Razorback coverage, about $100 a year. You're not going to beat the coverage anywhere else. So definitely take advantage of it. And once again, I'm Alex Trader. He's Jackson Collier, and we will see you guys next time.